Yo, what's good guys? Today we're back with another video discussing the top 10 CHH artists of 2021. This is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I thought I'd give making this list a shot. Top 10 lists aren't really something I try and make unless it's subjectively my own opinion, and on top of that, top 10 lists in general get a lot of heat if it's based objectively. But to be honest, I thought why not give this list a shot. It's not something that I really saw much around the YouTube space in 2021, and I haven't seen one made in a while. And I definitely don't want lists to start getting people to compare who's better than who, when it's really just about making music to share Jesus, share our stories, and everything, though there's nothing wrong with sharing opinions or reasons for your list, just as long as it's from a healthy standpoint of conversation and all that. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it, and disclaimer before we start, it is going to be important how we establish how I'm going to rank this list, since I did say that it was going to be made objectively and not from my own opinion. Though I will have some honorable mentions of people in my opinion who would have been on here later on. So in order to make this as fairly balanced as possible, I found different articles and posts from different CHH outlets such as CHH Talk, Rapzilla, CHH Premiere, and more, and I ranked the list based on 2 to 3 main criterias, as some criterias cannot be applied to one another. So I'll be building this list based on 3 things. First is active momentum, so how often were they dropping music in 2021? Reception, so aside from what you might deem as the top artists in 2021, what were other people in the comments saying? And lastly, Spotify popularity index provided by CHH Premiere. Though do keep in mind, a lot of artists in 2021 were ranked pretty high on this list, but they dropped little to no music as the list is based on the index of monthly listeners. So some artists may be ranked lower or higher, or just not at all based on the volume of music dropped in 2021. So let's just make this clear again. Active momentum, reception, and popularity index is what I'm going to be basing this list off of, so I'm definitely going to try and leave my bias out of this. Though again guys, like I said previously, I will have a list of honorable mentions of artists who I myself personally would have put onto this list if I were to make my own list and whatnot. And before we start, if you like these kind of videos, make sure you subscribe for more content. And by the end of this list, be honest and let me know, was this list trash or was it good? Let me know below in the comments, and if you made your own list, post it below in the comments so we can discuss and see who your top 10s were. Anyways guys, let's get into it, starting with number 10.
And hold on just a little longer. Anything that doesn't kill you is making you stronger. I feel your pain, you keeping it locked up, but when we stick together, ain't nothing can stop us.
Now to start number 10 off, we've got Limo Blaze. Now, Limo Blaze is a name that would frequently come up whenever international fans would discuss their favorite CHH artists during 2021, and Limo Blaze, someone coming from an Afrobeats background, definitely took huge strides to push himself this year. As you can see, he dropped an album called God's Favorite Baby, which received a good amount of reception, but what really put him over the top is his song on the Reach Summer 21 playlist with Lecrae and Jidenna. I think this was the first time in CHH history for not only himself, but for other international artists to be introduced to a more American-based listening audience, and the exposure was definitely good for CHH overall, as CHH has mostly grown inside America to an American sound, so seeing international artists from all over places like Africa is definitely great and promising to see. So Limo Blaze slides in at number 10.
Ay, they throw hate in church, sound like Satan to us. Told them in God we trust. Yeah, double cross my cuss. I need that thing deluxe.
At number 9 is Ty Brazzle. Now beforehand, Ty hadn't dropped anything in about over a year and a half since his Divine album, and without a lot of promo, he just randomly announced that he was dropping a project called Destiny Volume 1 on Friday, and I gave the project a listen, and it's really good to be honest, considering how on short notice that he dropped it and promoted it. And pretty much when you make your rounds around every CHH outlet, the project is making its way into every conversation and review. So while the project didn't receive a lot of promo, it's definitely a project that people are warming up to and enjoying, and it'll definitely make a good impression once you give it a listen. So at number 9, we've got Ty.
discreet.
At number 8, we've got Aaron Cole. His 2 Up 2 Down album was a great sophomore album. You know, we got to see Aaron show a good blend of his rapping and singing, which is something I know a lot of fans have wondered about before the album. Was he going to be rapping more? Was he going to be singing more? And it's good to say that Aaron definitely delivered on those questions, as he delivered a good, healthy blend of both. And he did pretty good for himself, as people enjoyed it, and a lot of people were waiting and also longing for him to drop this project, as it was a while for him before he even dropped it. And I know he had issues with his label on the release date, so it ended up being released in September, but he did pretty good for himself, as it's not about how you start 2021, but rather how you finish it. So Aaron Cole is going to be coming in at number 8.
His weight is a ton, dropping pounds, now your frame frail. Strain and skill to maintain the scale. Can't help but feel whenever we embrace. I might break a bone, so I just kiss your face.
Now number 7, we've got Swoop. A name that sounds new, but he's been around CHH for about 10 years at this point. So Swoop is pretty much a vet. Now, when I was compiling this list, I remember going on to the CHH Talk page and seeing them make a tournament tree for people to vote on their favorite album. While his album didn't make it to the final bracket, the amount of comments I saw on people vouching and voting for his album were pretty crazy. And if you didn't know, he dropped an album called 24, and the project received a lot of good feedback. If you talk to anyone who listened to it, they'll tell you too that it is a really underrated album. And as someone who doesn't listen that often to Swoop, even I enjoyed some of his songs on the album, including New Day and especially his song called With You. Swoop is someone that doesn't get talked about enough often, I find, but from being a part of the creation of Lecrae's Gravity album to helping write a Grammy-nominated song such as Blessings with Lecrae and Ty Dolla $ign, to building a loyal fan base for 10 plus years, all while doing it while being able to talk about Jesus, his life story, and everything else in between. It's reasonable to see why he made a strong impression in 2021, so Swoop is gonna land in at number 7.
So just to be able to see him thrive and see him impacting, you know, a whole new generation is super dope to me, man. It's exciting. Young boy got bands on me. Mama just lay hands on me. Last year out down bad, but got had big plans for me.
Alright, now for number 6, I had to pair these two together because they didn't really individually drop a lot of music, but the reason why I put them at number 6 is because while their Spotify index numbers were floating around the top 10 without a lot of music dropped collectively, together they had everybody in CHH turning heads as they dropped a collab project called No Church in a While. And while we individually didn't get any Church Close 4 or 1K Fuse completed album, No Church in a While still made a big impression in late December, as not only did people enjoy the fact that Lecrae and 1K meshed well with their Atlanta-based trap sound, but they also brought What Up RG onto the last part of their last song, Save Us. And because it's been years at this point since we've heard What Up RG spit a full verse at this point, everybody in CHH was dying to hear RG on a song again. But yeah, for 2021, Lecrae and 1K slide in at number 6.